everybody? Thomas Branch here. So I've been giving a lot of drum lessons here lately since I haven't been on the road, been on tour. And one thing that I've found in a lot of my students that I've been teaching is the consistency of how you are hitting the drums. And it's a real simple thing that I think sometimes gets overlooked. I know I'm guilty of it, obviously, in teaching, just overlooking, because I'm too busy just teaching how to separate your limbs and count 1, 2, 3, 4 with different rhythms. But basically what I wanted to go over, because I found that a lot of my students don't realize this, even some of the more advanced students, is hitting drums with consistency. So basically, you want to make sure that when you're hitting the snare drum, you're always rim shotting it. So I always take the middle of the stick, kind of the meat part, and lay it on the head just about like that, to where the end of my stick, the kind of the beater area, or the tip, sorry, kind of hits right in the center, but just a little bit above the center right in there. You want to hit the snare like that every single time, because the consistency of that helps on the 2 and 4. I mean, if you're playing in 4/4 time with your band, and it also helps the front of house guy. Same thing with the kick drum. I actually used to play the kick drum wrong, to where when I would hit it, the beater would come back off the kick drum head. But you're actually, for more of a consistent punch with your kick drum, you want to lay into the head with the beater. So after you hit it, you leave the beater on the head. Again, that helps with consistency as far as in-ear monitor mixes, wedge mixes for on stage, and then your front of house mix. It'll help your front of house guy a ton. You just want to be consistent, kind of like this. Another thing with going back to the snare is after you hit it, take the stick off the head. Don't bury the stick in the head. That's the no-no version. Leaving the stick on the head. That's what you want to do. Because that allows the drum to breathe, and you're just not smothering it. I actually used to do that. It was kind of a nervous tick that I think I developed, was leaving the stick buried into the head, which in return not only kills the life of the drum, but it's also actually hurting your hand, because my hand would tense up. Be loose when you hit it, and then allow the stick to come back off the head so the drum can breathe, come to life. Everybody has different styles, but a lot of people say to lay into the cymbals, which is very true. You want to do that, but at the same time, cymbals, I mean drums in general, that's kind of your dynamic, but in giving the backbeat, I kind of play around with how hard I hit cymbals. Anybody can play drums really loud, but to have that come together for a song, you want a lot of dynamics. So I tend to kind of play around with the cymbals and stuff like that. Now, again, I'm not lightly tapping the cymbal, because I still want my front of house guy to have an easy job, but I'm just not laying into it constantly. As an example, normally I kind of try to play a little bit like this. For crashes, yeah, you definitely want to lay into those with the kick drum every time. So sometimes if the chorus or the end of the song requires to ride on the crash, I tend to do that, but I actually prefer to kind of stay on the ride And then if it does call for like a bigger build or something, I like to, crash on the side of the ride. Now, not all rides are good to do that with because you don't want that nasty overtone sound. This one is actually a Zildjian K ride, and I think it's beautiful for doing that. As far as toms go, I always try to hit those very consistently in the middle of the head as best as I possibly can. You just want to be able to have that consistency for the song, the gig, with whatever you're doing at home. You just want to be consistent with how you hit your drums. Rim shot every time on the snare, beater into the kick drum head, same even strokes across your toms, consistency in playing, and a massive drum sound for your band.